Why does it have to be so windy? Gosh.
Let's begin.
All right, folks, welcome back to the channel. Man, do I have a lot to unpack. I guess we'll start off by saying, he's back! My car is back. My E46 sedan is up and running again with a new engine. Welcome to the rebuild breakdown, part 1.
Okay.
Or rebuild series, whatever we're gonna call this. If you guys last remember, my last update on this car was that the engine had a rod knock. It was no longer drivable. And I was saying goodbye to it in its current form because I had bigger plans for it. Let's just say I got a little sidetracked along the way over the last, year or so.
What do you mean by that?
So those bigger plans were kind of put on the back burner, but that doesn't mean they're not gonna happen. Motor-wise, we have another M54 B30 in here, but it is better than the last one, and I'll get into the reasons in a minute. But I don't know if you guys remember, I purchased an E46 convertible in December of 2022, which was my project daily. That was the car that I've been driving around while this car was down. But I had referenced just a moment ago that I got sidetracked. I also purchased another car.
Why?
This is something that I didn't even think about purchasing. I just happened to see it pop up on Facebook by one of my friends, and I was like, I gotta have it. If you guys have seen my Instagram, you already know what kind of car that is, and it's not even a car. It's an SUV.
A what now?
It is a 2001 BMW E46 X5. It's a tank. I call it the titanium tank. I've had that X5 for going on 8 months now, 9 months, and I love that thing. It's awesome. It has 169,000 miles, about to hit 170 probably this week. But that has been my daily, my actual true daily. I will make a separate video on that SUV in the future, along with some updates that I have done to my E46 convertible, because that car does not look the same as it did when you guys last saw it, when I made a video on it over a year ago. Along with purchasing those two vehicles, I also was in a relationship for a little while, which put the plans for this car on the back burner. All I can say about that is don't put your dreams on the back burner for someone else. I'm just gonna leave it at that. In the grand scheme of things, I have my car back and I have 2 other cars to go with it. I couldn't ask for more, honestly. So what I'm gonna talk about in this video today specifically is what went into this M54 B30 in terms of rebuilding it, because this engine is not the same engine that had the rod knock. It's a completely different motor. This particular motor I purchased off of Facebook Marketplace from a parted out 2005 E46 convertible. The car had 129,000 miles on it. So as of this video right now, I've put just over 100 miles on the engine. And a lot of preventive maintenance upgrades have gone into this motor because I just don't want the same thing that happened to the last motor to happen to this one. So, yeah, I'll open the hood.
Oh, here we go again.
All right, so let's get into some specifics about this motor. Right off the bat, you can see the metal valve cover. It is the metal cover that is from Amazon. I have a link below to the exact one that I bought. I originally was going to go with the M56 cover, which came from the M56 motor, which has the built-in CCV. I opted to just go with the M54 metal valve cover from Amazon, and the only reason I did that is because I already had a new CCV lying around at home, and I just figured, you know what, we'll just do that. As far as the big ticket items, we'll just go straight off with the big one, the oil pump. A major problem with the M54 B30 is the oil pump nut. Most people know, for those that have tuned their cars, like this one is tuned, and with extended red lines, the oil pump nut tends to fall off. There's several fixes for that. Some people will weld the nut, or they will do a wire for the nut. And then you have the one and done solution for it, which is the upgraded unit. And that is what I opted for. The upgraded pump that I bought was from Seems Legit Garage. If I'm correct, the unit is from Hopwood Motorsport. Seems Legit Garage supplies a chain tensioner for the oil pump chain for support, because what I found in my research was that if you do just the oil pump without a chain tensioner, the chain still has slack. So to eliminate all of that, I just went ahead and got the pump and the chain tensioner, along with a new oil pump chain. So along with the new oil pump chain, I also got new timing chains and timing chain guides. which those particular timing chain guides are IWIS racing guides. So they're the factory guides, but for racing purposes. So they're a little tighter, less slack in the chain. It's supposed to be better performance. I also got Dinan ignition coils, which is something that I put in my other 2 vehicles. A neat little upgrade there. All the cooling system is still the same from the other motor. The only thing that I upgraded was the water pump pulley. It is aluminum, which I bought from FCP Euro, I believe. Next would be the DISA valve, or DISA valve, however you want to pronounce it. I upgraded that with the German Auto Solutions or G.A.S rebuild kit, which has the metal flap, because everyone in the E46, E39, M54 community knows that the pin will fall out and cause the flap to break and cause catastrophic problems with your motor. So I rebuilt that and we're good to go. One other part that I had waited a couple months for. It's a smaller upgrade, but after doing research, I found that it was going to be a useful upgrade. It is the S54 timing chain tensioner. From my research, I believe it provides about 25 to 50% more tension onto the timing chain because it is a hydraulic tensioner compared to the factory M54 tensioner, which is a mechanical tensioner. At the time of me purchasing that tensioner, I had waited about 2 months. The OE manufacturer, which is INA, they had that part on back order for about 2-3 months, or actually it was longer than that because I just got a notification yesterday or 2 days ago that it finally came back in stock 6 months later. Yeah. Back in January, I had ordered the timing chain tensioner and I waited at least 2 months and it never came. I was like, okay, whatever. I'll just bite the bullet and buy the genuine part. I waited another 3 weeks for that to show up. And when it did show up, it just showed up randomly because it had no ETA for it. It was on back order from the dealership as well. But I'm happy to have it, and it's another upgrade that I would suggest doing if you're planning on doing an engine rebuild like this. I'm going to provide a parts list of everything that I did purchase for this engine and everything that I had swapped from the previous motor to this one because everything at least had, 10,000 miles on it at best and was just a year old. So a lot of those parts were just transferred to this one. But the major upgrades that I just mentioned are the ones that I'll definitely link in a spreadsheet. So you can look at that, kind of similar how I did my manual swap. So you can easily access them for whatever you would like to do this kind of upgrade or rebuild yourself. Yeah, that's the extent of my engine rebuild. But what about the car entirely? That's a whole different game, which I will allude to right now. So, what are the plans for this thing cosmetically? Well, as you can see right now, it is not in the best of shape cosmetically. And I'm showing you guys the way it looks right now in its rawest form post engine rebuild because this car is not perfect. It never was, but it's far from perfect now since it sat for over a year and a half. But the cool part about the car being in this shape right now is that I can share all of the progress as it happens. You know, with my previous videos, everything was already done. So all I did was just talk about it. Now you can actually see the progress from beginning to the end, which is, we all know, it's never the end. We're never really satisfied. And that's the joy about building cars. There's a lot of things that I wanted to do to the car, but because it was my daily driver, it was my only car, you know, the things that I wanted to do, the car would have to sit for a little while. Or now, it's not my daily driver anymore. I can take my time with it and do these small upgrades here and there when I want to and really get the car in the shape that I want it to be in. I have a lot of things in the works for it, and I already have parts laying around that I just need to start putting together, getting painted. I'm very excited to share all of that with you as it happens. A big part is coilovers. You can see this car is not on coilovers anymore. I had swapped the coilovers from this car onto my convertible because I figured this car is going to be down for at least, maybe 2 years or so. I wanted the convertible to look good and ride better because the stock suspension, which is what this car is currently on, which came from the convertible, is terrible. Along with suspension, there's a lot of interior things that I need to clean up again. Some of it I had swapped from this car to the convertible, like my rear cup holders, my silver cluster rings, because the ones that are in the car right now are chrome, which I really am not a fan of, but my convertible came with that when I bought it. So I need to put my silver rings back, or I can upgrade the cluster And the biggest missing piece is the radio, the big gaping hole in the dash. I took the radio out of this car and put it in my convertible. But that means now I can upgrade the radio. And when that head unit comes, I'll show you guys how to install that radio. There's a lot of nook and crannies that I need to clean up, especially around this headlight trim. It's kind of dirty under there. I'm going to have to take that off and clean that up. My angel eye ring over here is half working. I already have that coming. So I have a new angel eye ring, so it's complete and not halfway on. I need to get the paint in better shape again. It's looking very dull. I need to get this bumper repainted because it's not in the best of shape. I need to get a new lip spoiler because the lip spoiler on this car, the paint just cracked all over. So I need to get a new one of those. Those little things here and there that I basically, you know, it feels like I'm starting over again. But that's the fun in rebuilding cars, right? Oh yeah, I need to replace that badge. This crusty BMW badge that is yellow. That's coming off. I also want to say thank you to everyone that's been supporting the channel. You guys have not gone unnoticed over the last year, and I've seen the growth in the channel, so I want to say thank you for 20,000 subscribers. You know, that's something I didn't imagine happening considering I haven't been posting, but we're going to see where this car goes now. I think it'll be a fun second half of the year and future. It'll be a fun future. So yeah, as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.